For those who don't know, Dave Meltzer once worked for WWE. According to WWE producer Bruce Pritchard, Meltzer was hired to give reports on different promotions, and write positive things on the company in his newsletter. Meltzer responded to the clear case of conflict of interest, saying, "It was in 1987 and it was for a very brief period of time. So, that was the story. That's not a secret. I wrote about it in 1991 and people have asked me about many times and that's the deal. I wouldn't do it now, and I probably shouldn't have done it then." Judging by Dave's response, you can see that he learned his lesson, as now, he's keeping it a secret that he's working for AEW. Dave's real expertise is news reporting. In 2019, with Shane McMahon off television, Meltzer jumped to claim that Shane is not appearing on the shows because creative doesn't have anything for him. Unlike times when he gets away with reporting fabrications, a few days later, it was revealed that Shane wasn't on the show because he had to attend jury duty. The embarrassed Meltzer never mentioned it again. Still in 2019, Rollins made some comments about some obscure indie wrestlers, which angered Dave. After a big controversy in Saudi, Meltzer reported that Rollins gave an embarrassing speech to the locker room. Jerry Lawler, who was there, recapped the entire event, confirming that it never happened. Rollins then called out Meltzer for lying. Dave, who isn't used to people actually caring enough to respond to his made-up stories, immediately apologized. In recent years more than at any other time, due to the weekly podcasts with the people involved, Meltzer is routinely getting exposed as a biased con man who takes bits and pieces of a story, and masks his personal opinions as reports, with zero fact-checking. Dave's fairy tales included, Mabel was going to be the third man in the NWO, Austin refused to wrestle Hogan at WrestleMania 18, Jerry Jarrett was going to run the WWF with Vince in prison. And pretty much anything which didn't include obvious, public information. As the new WCW book of Guy Evans proved, basically all the numbers he reported as facts, from annual salaries to paydays, were complete fabrication. Dave is not a journalist and never was. He takes every unreliable word he can get from the lowest of sources, if it fits his agenda on the people he likes, or don't. Zero checking of information, zero contact to the actual sources. That's why you see countless praise for shills like Jim Cornette and Paul Heyman, and countless discrediting for the more successful, Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo. You also gotta remember that Meltzer's take on what a good wrestling television show is, of mostly cold wrestling with no diversity or character development, was historically a complete failure, which led to even more comically hypocritical analysis when the numbers and facts obliterated his entire view on the business. In reality, he never admitted or never got what a successful program is, and instead of admitting that what works is simply not his taste, was constantly trying to twist numbers, destroying any shred of his non-exist credibility. Meltzer's double standards are so alarming, you would think it's a parody. When Hogan, Nash and more people he didn't like, were getting the biggest reactions from the live crowd, he shrugged it off as just knowing how to get a reaction. Now, he pretends that the AEW crowd who cheers anything, are an indicator for getting over, comically shilling, and defending embarrassments like Marco Stunt with that excuse. Along with matches that he likes, who in reality are rating killers. Just to give you an example on how the reporting process at the Observer newsletter works. A few years ago a fan in a live event in Scotland, took a picture on the screen that said intermission, jokingly said that it's a new pay-per-view. Meltzer, as we learned, known for his intensive fact-checking, jumped to report it as a new WWE pay-per-view in Scotland, pretending to have a UK source. Of course, we later learned that it was an actual intermission in the live event. Now the point is, if Dave is getting worked like that by a random fan on Twitter, imagine what happened for years with the sharks of the wrestling business. He could have been an actual reporter, instead he decided to be a fanboy with a newsletter.